$800. That is the price tag for a massive vibrating box that clutters your counter, wastes massive amounts of electricity, and demands an expensive plumber the moment it inevitably decides to stop draining. You can get the exact same result with a $3 thrift store salad spinner in 10 seconds of manual effort. Today, I'm going to show you how to build a high-performance countertop dishwasher that handles your entire daily load of dishes for pennies. Stick with me for the vortex modification that makes this faster than any commercial unit, and I'll tell you why I've completely abandoned my machine for this simple manual setup. It's genuinely changed how I run my kitchen. Most modern dishwashers are honestly just glorified water pumps. They occupy half of your valuable cabinet space. They rely on complex circuitry that is designed to fail within 5 years, and they often waste dozens of gallons of water just to rinse off a single bowl of oatmeal. We've been conditioned to believe that you need a machine that weighs 200 pounds to handle a salad plate. But the physics of cleaning dishes isn't about size or heat, it's about emulsification and force. To get a plate clean, you need to break the surface tension of the food residue, and then physically move that debris away from the surface. A dishwasher does this by spraying hot water at high pressure, but that's an incredibly inefficient way to do it. If you understand the mechanical principle of a centrifugal vortex, you realize that you don't need the pump, you just need the spin. If you take a salad spinner, one of those plastic devices designed to dry your lettuce, you already have a rotating drum and a high-ratio gear system. When you load that drum with water and soap, you're creating a contained environment where the water is forced to travel at high speeds along the curved wall. This isn't just about the water moving, it's about the fact that water molecules at 300 rotations per minute are generating a tremendous amount of shear stress against anything sitting in the path. You're essentially creating a mini cyclone that forces soapy water into every crevice, every fork tine, and every spoon curve with more consistency than a standard dishwasher nozzle ever could. I remember the first night I tried this in my own kitchen, standing there with a pile of dirty cutlery. I didn't miss the loud, annoying roar of the dishwasher I had used for years. It was quiet, it was immediate, and the results were identical. Finding one of these at a thrift store is the easiest part. You need the models with the locking lid, the ones that feel like they have a decent seal. The cheap ones with the loose lids will just leak water everywhere, which defeats the point. I found this one for $3, and the gear mechanism was still perfectly smooth. The trick isn't just the spinner itself, it's about what you do to the interior to make it an actual cleaning machine rather than just a glorified rinse tank. You need to add a series of baffles. A standard salad spinner is smooth on the inside, which is fine for lettuce, but terrible for plates. You need to interrupt the flow of water. Take a piece of stiff waterproof plastic, scraps from an old cutting board or even a heavy-duty food container lid, and cut it into strips about 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. You don't need a lot of them, just 3 or 4 will do. Use a waterproof epoxy or a strong silicone adhesive to mount these strips vertically against the inner wall of the spinner's basket. When the water hits these baffles, it isn't just spinning in a circle anymore, it's being redirected, creating turbulence and splashing back toward the center where your dirty dishes are located. This is the difference between a gentle swirl and a high-impact cleaning cycle. When you load your cutlery, don't just dump it in. You need to stack it so the dirty sides face the direction of the spin. If your spinner rotates clockwise, you want your forks and spoons leaning slightly against the wall of the basket, angled into the flow of the water. If you just pile them in the center, they'll just sit there, barely getting wet. You want the centrifugal force to drive the water through the cutlery, not just around it. A single drop of dish soap is all you need. You don't want a mountain of suds. Too much soap just makes the water heavy and creates unnecessary surface tension that actually prevents the water from reaching the plates. A drop of Dawn, a liter of water, and 10 seconds of spinning is enough to clean 5 settings of cutlery. I see a lot of you are still watching, which tells me you really care about optimizing your home efficiency. If you want to support more of these experiments, hitting subscribe is free and makes a huge difference. For members-only deep dives into these mechanical setups, check the join link below. Either way, let's get right back into this. Now, where else can you actually use this thing? Because it's manual and compact, it's perfect for camping. If you're in an RV or a tent, you're usually scrubbing dishes in a tiny basin with cold water, which is miserable. This spinner makes that entire process fast and actually effective. It's also an incredible emergency backup for when the power goes out, but I found some even more creative uses. If you have kids with loads of small, weirdly shaped plastic toys, this is the absolute best way to clean them. Throw them in with some soapy water, give it 10 spins, and they're rinsed and sanitized without you having to hand scrub every single piece. I've even used mine to clean small hand tools, nuts, bolts, and wrench heads that get caked in grease. The vortex action is violent enough to strip off that grit that's usually impossible to wipe off by hand. It really changes the utility of the tool when you start thinking of it as a centrifugal cleaning device rather than just a kitchen gadget. The vortex cleaning speed here is actually the secret weapon. At 300 rotations per minute, you're effectively putting your cutlery through a high velocity rinse that is impossible to replicate by hand. If you have a stubborn stain on a ceramic plate, you can actually set the plate in the spinner, angled towards the wall, and the water hitting it from the center out will blast the residue off, assuming you've set up your baffles correctly. It feels absurd when you're doing it, but when you pull out a spoon that was covered in dried-on cereal and find it completely spotless, you'll realize why the machine version is an absolute waste of money. The beauty of this is that it forces you to rethink what a dishwasher actually is. It's not an appliance, it's a tool. It takes up no electricity, it takes up no cabinet space, and if it breaks, you spend another $3 on a new one. It's completely independent of the power grid, and it does the job faster than you can unload a machine. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you want to keep saving money. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.